Hey everyone, this is Deborah. So let's talk about some things, well, it's still fresh in my mind, about what will make your trip through airports easier. You need to have the shoes that are slip-on, the kind that you don't have to bend over to put them on. So I know Skechers, I think Martha Stewart recommends them. I forget what they're called, but you just slip your foot into the tennis shoe. You need to have a shoe that has lots of padding, because sometimes you'll walk a mile, even though some of them have the escalators or the pathways that move. You still are going to do a lot of walking. You also need to bring on your trip a lightweight suitcase, not actually a suitcase, a carry-on that can expand, so that if you buy any trinkets or souvenirs, you can put it in there. And it needs to be the kind of material that will squish. Like, I couldn't bring my beach bag because it was made out of straw and it would take up too much space in my suitcase. So that is important. You also need to, if you can, if you're bringing out a carry-on suitcase, sometimes they will not let you put it underneath. If it's a commuter flight, the smaller airplanes, they have to take it from you and put it under the plane, and then they give it right back as soon as you get off the plane. That's not checked baggage. That's just for planes that are very small. But you have to make sure on those type of planes, or any plane, that you can put the bag that you carry on, like your purse or whatever, that will fit underneath the seat. So you want one that's not rigid. And you also want the same one that will slip over with a little sleeve over your regular suitcase. And I've even seen this at the airport, and I was quite surprised. Everybody was like leaving a little bit of water in their water bottle, because you're allowed 3 ounces. I don't know, and they let them go through. I was very shocked. I thought it had to be, in the Ziploc, the quart size or whatever, but evidently they were letting them on. Also, I was very sick. It's that video I did that I coughed for 18 hours straight. So when it came time for me to fly, I didn't have the time to go through everything and condense it down, and I just threw everything in the suitcase, right? Well, it caused a lot of problems. It caused a lot of problems. But people don't realize that you can be sick and not able to do what you need to do for a trip, right? Now, I did get some medicine, so then I was able to enjoy my vacation. You must. I had this passport holder that was a wristlet. I wish, and I even had bought one where it goes around your neck. You need to be as hands-free as possible, definitely. And if you haven't gotten your real ID, I suggest you go get it, because the time's coming up on you. It would also be nice if you could pay that money. I forget what it's called. I tried to get it when I was living in Manassas, Virginia. So to bypass a lot of the security, but they were not opening up any offices where you could go in. I tried twice, So, what else? The little clamp that I bought from Temu that holds your hat onto your luggage was very helpful. Also, I got plastic containers for my razors, because one time when you get cut by a razor blade, you know. So I really enjoyed having that, so I didn't have to worry about reaching into some bag and getting sliced up from the razor blade, right? Yeah, so, and I'm so tired when I get on the plane. I didn't need my earbuds. I didn't even use them. I never watch a movie. It seems like it just doesn't work out. But was very dehydrated. Oh God, I'm so sleepy. And I asked for the whole Diet Coke. But it seems like on the planes anymore, all they're trying to push is their credit card. I heard more about that than I did about the safety regulations, you know. Let's see, what else? Yeah, it helps to layer your clothes. I was on the small commuter jet, and I was burning up. I mean, hot, nauseous. So you got to be able to strip off layers when that happens. And then I've been on planes where, like the 747s, where you like get very, very cold. I would always carry mints so that you can give to somebody next to you who has really bad breath and they don't know it. Yeah, I would definitely carry mints. And yeah, they said on the plane that if you're sitting on a certain row, that you have to leave the window up. I don't know. And then on certain rows, you can't sit there unless you are able to, and in case of a rescue, able to help other people in case of something happening, right? All right, so if I think of some more, I'll come back to you. Yeah, I think when you're going through immigration, they want your finger, your thumb, and the rest of your fingerprints. They also want your picture sometimes. They want you to take off your sunglasses and your hat. They might ask you questions like, how long are you staying? I changed my hair color, and that was stumping a couple of them. Yeah, that was stumping some of them. They look at they're trained to look at your eyes and your facial features, because a lot of people change their hair color, right? Yeah, the lines for customs and immigration and to check your baggage, they go pretty fast. So, I mean, it really does. And you might see like 10 lines, but you should not be in there very long. You should not have to wait too long. But the connecting flights, if you've only got an hour between flights, you may be in a little bit of trouble. Yeah. Always get the scale. Buy one that you can read the poundage from the top looking down, because I bought one that you have to look at the side like this, and it's easier if you can read the weight from the top. And put it in your luggage too, because you're going to need to weigh it before you come back home. And it didn't dawn on me. Yeah, you need to do that. And Ziplocs are going to be your best friend, because you never know what's going to spill. I protected everything except my foundation. Somehow my NARS foundation leaked out and made the biggest mess. I had to spend an hour cleaning that up, but thank goodness it was in the Ziploc and it didn't ruin any clothes or anything like that. And I even had bought those little rubber things that you put over the spouts. Well, who would have thought that the foundation would have leaked. It was just the way it was designed, the bottle, I guess. Yeah. I would not suggest buying anything liquid at the duty-free shop. You know, like if you buy a candy bar or something, they don't have to seal it up in that bag. You can just throw that in your carry-on. Nowadays, they want to know a emergency contact. And I also thought this was very helpful. I took an ink pen and marked on my hand, especially with the connecting flight, the gate and the seat number on my hand, because you can't always go into your purse or into a bag and look. So I write it right on my hand with like a permanent marker, because ink pens will probably not be as noticeable. But that really helped me a lot when I just wrote the gate and the seat number and the flight number on my hand. Also, print out your whole trip, give it to somebody. You never know how helpful that would be. Also, you need to print it out too, because just because you book your ticket does not mean once you get to the airport you know what to do. You need to print it out. Also, if you got the app, then you can also look at that. But if your phone goes dead, then you're screwed. So also print it out on paper. You want to cover your elbow, people. And be flexible. You have to be very flexible when you're traveling. Always keep enough money on your credit card in case you have to get a hotel or rent a car. You never know. Me and our friends had to rent an Uber. We shared like a $500 cost between 6 of us. And it saved our whole vacation. And yeah, so there you go. When you're going through the x-ray machine where you have to hold your hands up, if you have anything in your pocket, they're going to see it. I had some tissues in my pocket and they saw that. I could not believe it. I've been in the security line where people didn't even know that they had to take their hat off or their phone or their shoes off. And you got to take your jacket off. You put it into a container so it can go through the x-ray. And they're not paying so much attention to that quart-sized bag, because I had many liquids in many different quart-sized bags. But don't take my word for it. I don't want anybody getting in trouble, right? If you're on a very long flight and you need to sleep, I would bring a muscle relaxer or a Xanax or Trazodone or even a sleeping pill, something, because the stewardesses, they won't wake you up if they know you're asleep. Hopefully. Yeah, if you want to sleep, bring something to help you sleep. And the neck pillow, the U-shaped one, there's no way to hook that to your luggage unless you've got one that's got the Velcro. Now, I just bought one, and because I left my one that does have the Velcro at my house by accident, so I had to buy one that is just the U shape, right? And so I'm gonna have to fix it, sew some Velcro on it so I can hook it to my luggage somehow, right? I've seen some people walking through the airport with it just still on their neck. And sometimes if you don't have a neck pillow, I have taken my jacket, just balled it up. I always get the window seat. And because my ex was an A&P mechanic, he always said it was safer towards the back of the plane. But I always get the window seat. That way I can have something to lean on. I hate the middle seat because then you're fighting for those armrests. And I heard that if you do have the middle seat, that you're supposed to give up the armrest to them. Yeah. Now, if you got a connecting flight, I would sit near the front of the plane so you can get off and get through the lines and get your luggage and all that stuff. If you sit near the back, then you've got to wait and wait and wait for everybody to come out of their seat and exit the plane, and then you're going to have to walk behind some slow people. So if you have a connecting flight and you know that, get a seat near the front of the plane. My last trip, I sat on the tarmac longer than I was in the air. And when they tell you to put your phone on airplane mode, if you had downloaded a movie or a book, you could have read that while you were sitting doing nothing. So keep that in mind, to download a movie or a book so you can read it, because you don't know. I've been on some planes where I've been trapped inside for 2 or 3 hours.